Just a few days now after the Raft developers last spoke about more communication, and we've received, no doubt, the biggest Chapter 3 teaser so far, and it's absolutely insane. A lot of our predictions have been both proven and ruled out, so it's time to cover everything new that we've been told regarding our sacred Chapter 3 update. This teaser came in the form of a devblog, which we haven't seen in a hot minute. In fact, the last devblog came not too long after the renovation update, so this is hopefully the start of something insane. The blog is split up into different sections, and before jumping into anything massive, let's start off with what the developers have said regarding Chapter 3 and all the talk surrounding its infamous release date. They said, quote, "We will get straight into what you are all probably wondering. What is happening with Chapter 3? We've noticed a lot of you were expecting the next part of the story to drop before Christmas, and that is understandable as Chapter 1 and 2 were both released around October, November. We would have loved to be able to give you Chapter 3 at that time, but believe me when I say, it would not have been pretty. Chapter 3 is not quite ready, and that is mainly due to two factors." Unquote. They then go on to say that although the renovation update was released last summer, it actually did eat into the development time for Chapter 3 as many suspected. Now, although this was a little disappointing to hear, it's clear that Redbeet are now heavily back on track and powering through development for Chapter 3. To round up this introductory message, they said that the reason Chapter 3 has taken so long is because it's simply a very big update and will, quote, "deliver a whole lot more than ever before," unquote. They confirmed it's bigger than before and includes obviously new storyline islands, new raft machines and building parts, which we'll cover later on in the video, and new small islands. However, this devblog doesn't show everything in Chapter 3. In fact, Redbeet stated that it's nowhere near everything and there are loads of cool things that are still in the works which we haven't yet been told about. So that's the first paragraph over and done with. And when I was reading that, my pretty small attention span caused me to scroll down just a little bit, and this is what I saw. Not only are we getting new clothes for the current characters in the game, we'll be meeting new characters, and once we do, we'll be given the ability to literally play as them in the game. Now, this has to be one of the coolest ways of implementing new characters ever. I'm super impressed, and I can't help but imagine what they look like. As you can see, I mean, if you have eyes, there are 4 new characters being added, and it looks like one kind of has braids, the other one on the right has some kind of short hair with a scarf, and the middle ones just look straight up intimidating. Either way, it won't be long before we get to see these people for real. Now, time to cover the new destinations portion of the devblog, and this bit will genuinely shock you. But before we get into anything too crazy, Redbeet have given us 3 new images of Varuna Point in this devblog, all of which look pretty intriguing. And as we guessed, Varuna Point will be filled with jellyfish on the outside and anglerfish on the inside, so a pretty dangerous location. Also, it doesn't look like it features too many air gaps for breathing, so surely we'll be getting some new upgraded scuba gear in this update, right? Perhaps we'll find the blueprints for them at the top of Varuna Point? I mean, who knows, but I've got my suspicions. And now, it's time for what I think is the most surprising thing in this entire devblog. Well, while I say surprising, I think I actually called this happening in one of my recent videos. I said one of the new locations might just be snowy inside of the South or even North Pole, and I said this because of the hints in the storyline saying that the rich people went to the South Pole, and also the aurora that can be seen in the sky from one of the previous Chapter 3 showcases. So yeah, here's that snowy area. It's real and it's beautiful. It's super barren as well and features the occasional tree, but what stands out for me the most is the appearance of the buildings that have been constructed there. They look almost like shelters. And remember, those huge tanks are located here too. So maybe these people have tried their utmost to adapt to this environment in order to try and maybe live here forever. Since, as you can see, it's not flooded, and in the raft world, that's something that's not too easy to come by. However, this isn't the last location in Chapter 3. Nope. To round up this section, Redbeet said this, quote, "We generally do not want to spoil too much of what is to come in our updates, as we believe it's better to experience most of it in-game. Therefore, we will hold on to the final destination of Chapter 3 for a later time. Oh yes, there is a third destination," unquote. So yeah, 3 locations have been confirmed for Chapter 3, and I'm too excited to put it into words. Now, this next bit may become controversial, however, I'll be nothing but positive about it, and I encourage you guys to keep an open mind about it. It mentions a proper story overhaul and the decision which led to them to do a huge refresh of the current storyline. Now, I'll read the quote properly so that you can hear it from them. Redbeet said, quote, "The essence remains the same, but we have rewritten almost all of the notes to make them easier to read and follow. Unnecessary characters and names have been removed to reduce confusion, and we've made sure there is more consistent and engaging story throughout all of the destinations. We've reduced the amount of text that does not add to the story, and we've added text that enriches it. We are even working on introducing playback for the notes, for those who prefer to just listen while they keep playing," unquote. It all sounds like good changes to me. However, the big question to you guys will be, will you stay in the same world you currently have and just revisit the old locations? Or will you be restarting fresh in order to get the proper experience from the start? I think I'll be doing the latter and starting a brand new world. And who knows, maybe a new survival series may come with it. Oh, and also, notes can now be played back, i.e. a voice which reads notes out to you. I mean, I love that. Finally, an amazing quality of life feature which will make playing through the storyline that much more immersive. And just before we move on to the last part in this devblog, can we just talk about those new building parts that I mentioned earlier on in the video? I mean, could this actually be what we were all suspecting? Perhaps new building materials? Or even maybe more customization within stairs, ladders, pillars, supports and everything else? I'm feeling like we may get a bit of both, but let me know what you guys think this could mean in the comments down below. Anyways, it's time to move on to the last section of this devblog. We've arguably left the best till last, as this is another crazy feature Redbeet have confirmed to be included within chapter 3 that we actually predicted right on this channel. We're doing pretty damn good, guys. Anyways, it's all about trading. Yes, Redbeet are actually attempting to introduce AI trading into the game through these new trading outposts sort of things. Now, we have no idea how they spawn, but it's quite likely they'll just spawn randomly on regular islands. However, that's not the biggest question in play here. I mean, how about who's going to run this trading outpost? Or will it just be ran by a machine? I mean, either way, it will be cool. However, I know what you're thinking. How are we going to pay? What's the currency? Well, Redbeet have given this new trading currency the name Scrap Cubes. It sounds pretty odd, but the premise is simple. You trade in a variety of different junk, so planks, scrap, plastic, leaves, whatever you have on hand, for these little cubes, and then you can use these at trading posts in order to buy something you need. But what will these trading posts stock, and will each one have different things on offer? Well, that's something we're gonna have to find out when we actually play chapter 3. And no, Redbeet did not give any info on a release date, but from what I've read, it sounds like they aren't done just yet, and my prediction for any kind of announcement or release trailer is now looking a bit more like March time. Anywho, that is all for today, my friends. I hope you're just as excited for these new announcements and teasers as I am. If you enjoyed today's video, then drop it a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time.